All right, this comes from Meredith Wood at Fundera. But number one habit, business owners are so busy, they just trying to put out fires all the time. We tend to work into some bad habits, but number one is wearing too many hats. We end up taking on so many different things, so many different roles. It impacts our productivity, our focus. We just can't get to everything we want to, and then that ends up in making more mistakes. There's rework and lost time and whatnot. So number one is wearing too many hats. Do you have that? Do you come across that very often, Joe?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to, because what happens, the problem is dropped in your lap, and you have to be the problem solver for whatever that problem is, whether it's accounting, operational, administrative, marketing. It becomes a problem, and if you don't think in advance who is going to be the first person to solve that problem or look and review that, you have to have the foresight to know that these issues are coming up or a problem in that department is coming up. What I used to tell people all the time, bring me a problem, but also bring me what you think might be a solution, so that I know they've at least thought through it enough. So when we're talking about it, we are talking about it, and I know that problem has gone through somebody first. Right. If that problem hits my desk before anybody else has seen it, I've done something wrong.
Right. Don't bring a problem if you don't have a solution. Absolutely.
Or at least a concept, or
Sure.
It just depends on the level of the problem, whether they can solve it on their own or not. And as I get more and more comfortable with the staff, I'll give them the guidance to. Once you've been with me a while, I'll then say, solve the problem, and then let me know how you solved it, and then we'll talk through it.
Right.
Right. I'm not going to do that when I first hire you, right? That I got to get a little confidence in you. But after a while, that's probably where I'm headed.
Yeah. Well, the key to this, how to fix it, is delegation. Whether it's inside or out, there's resources all around us to take on some of these roles and tasks that you talked about. And it comes down for the business owner to really focus on what's going to move the needle, what's going to move the ball down the field just a few more yards. Don't get caught up in the little things. We all have 1,440 minutes a day.
Right. Use
those minutes wisely. All right. So that's number one. Let's jump into number two. Don't get hung up on old ideas. As we go into business, we have these aspirations of something big, and or not, but we know what we think we want. But it's a long process to build that business. And man, how fast is the world changing now?
Yeah.
And just because it was a great idea 2 or 3 years ago doesn't mean the market hasn't changed, or the opportunity or technology hasn't changed a little bit. So, don't see that original idea all the way through. It may still be great, but make sure you're reevaluating where we are and what the opportunity is.
Yeah, I'm dead on that one. That is absolutely so true, because it worked yesterday does not mean it's going to work tomorrow.
And can you see that on your own?
It's hard.
Yeah, surround yourself with a board of directors.
It's very hard.
Mentor somebody to help bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
Number three, over-promising. My wife has helped me practice. I cannot take that on at this time. I cannot take that. We've got to learn to say no. We get so, that goes back to number one, is all the things we take on and wearing so many different hats. We have to be able to identify what are the things that are right for me, so that I can be 100% in it and get the results that whatever that is deserves.
That is so hard.
Absolutely.
Because if I need $100 to make payroll this week, and a project comes in that's going to give me that $100, although it might take 20 hours, I'll say, okay, because I need the $100, right? It's really hard to say no when cash flow is the material driver of your business. You've got to work past that. You are better off to say no to those and spend that 20 hours on something that is $500 instead of just $100. But that is so hard to do.
It's not easy, but it is possible. And
Yep.
keep that longer term vision. All right, number 4, not taking risks. That's the flip side of over-promising. Sometimes we get so conservative we're not willing to try new things that will really move us forward. And so we got to be really aware of that. It all comes back down to fear.
Dave, unfortunately, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. But just because you took the calculated risk to get in business doesn't mean it's over. You have to continue to calculate risk, manage risk, or you're not going to succeed. It is an everyday challenge. The risk is not just saying, yes, I'll buy that business. The risk is every day being prepared to take another risk. If you're not willing to do that, I'm afraid you're not a good person to be in small business. Call me, let's sell your business now, because you're going to have to reinvest your time, energy, and money constantly, because most of the time it's because competition is changing, trends are changing, clients are asking and require for new and different things, and so you have to tweak with what you're doing to keep up with that, which requires calculating the risk. It's ongoing. It doesn't end.
No, it's a daily mindset, and it is, like the term used, is a calculated risk. You don't hang it all out there by any means, but you have to try different things. That's the only way we learn and grow, is to try new things. And you don't want to take too big of a risk, but get those small wins, one step at a time, and celebrate those wins.
Yep.
Learn from the mistakes. All right, number 5. Micromanaging. I think we all have been around people that micromanage, right?
Yep.
But there's no way to scale a business or even survive the stress that comes with it when you're micromanaging. It's all about communication.
Yep.
With your team. When you're micromanaging, you're killing your team's creativity. They're disengaged, because there's not, what they interpret that is a lack of trust.
I tell people all the time, there is no room for micromanaging growing a business. You must micromanage to start the business. And that's the problem. See, because they succeed micromanaging getting the business jump-started. But to grow it, you can't micromanage. So you really do have to turn on a dime once you get to that point.
Right. Number 6, kind of working through these quickly, but number 6 is the habit is not taking care of ourselves. And you and I were talking about this a little bit before the show. It is unbelievably important to take care of ourselves, our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, spiritual health, to be able to survive the stresses of entrepreneurship that come every day. And, the challenge is in the marketplace, in the world we live in, entrepreneurs are expected to work 7 days a week. 24 hours a day. It's go.
It's
go.
That darn cell phone.
Yeah, that's right. It never turns off.
Yeah,
and emails keep coming. But to work on that balance and make sure we take time away for our physical health. Joe, you look like a new man now. You've got to feel better with some of the weight that you've lost, and but even just a good night's sleep, man, how much more aggressive do you feel and energized after a good night's sleep?
Yep, you're right.
To go in and deal with the fires that you're dealing with in business each and every day.
Yep.
So to be able to balance that, there's a great a book that kind of set the example for us called the Bible. Work your 6 days and take 1 day of rest. Completely turn it off. And it's amazing what it does for your mind and creativity, to be able to re-energize. And then when you hit it again, man, you're ready. You're ready.